attention.
This is 3D-or-2D.com's The 3D Show!
Season 2, now twice as sexy!
Put on your 3D glasses now.
And if you're wondering what the 3Ds are in The 3D Show, well, they stand for discussion, debate, and the news. I do hope you enjoyed the show. The show, get it?
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. 3D Wiggle provides software that lets you convert your 3D images into 3D GIFs and or movies that you can easily share on Facebook or Twitter. We have a 20% off coupon in the link in the description, and we also have deals from Amazon, and we also have a Patreon. So please click in the description to get more info.
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
Welcome to episode 69 of The 3D Show, and I am with
Jake Jarvis.
Unfortunately, James cannot make it, and as we mentioned before, sometimes James is going to be here, sometimes Jake. It's, who can. Hopefully, sometimes all of y'all, but we'll see. So we got quite a few topics in 3D news that happened in the last week or two. What do you want to start with?
Oh, I think we should start with the big one. The report, the trade papers reports on the decline of 3D yet again.
Yet again is the key word because, okay, let me show the big picture because a lot of different websites and publications are saying it's the end of 3D, the trend is over, da, 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 da. And then you look at the big picture, the overall US box office is not doing so great. Overall, the box office from, let's see the numbers. These are the actual numbers. And 2013 is 10.9. 2014 was 10.4 billion. 2015, 11.1 billion. And 2016, 11.4 billion. And 2017, 11.1 billion. So it's gone from 11.4 to 11.1, which is like not that much in overall box office. Now, let me get some more numbers here. That's just for the US. So in the world box office, it's going upward. So now let's go to 3D. 3D is from that 11.1 billion, a lot of numbers here. Last year was 1.3 billion. So on the height was 2010 with 2.2 billion. And that was partially because of Avatar and, that really getting the traction. So from Avatar 2010, 2.2, now at 1.3, there is definitely a decrease. But it's not like, nothing. It's still a significant number there. It's not going away. And the foreign market is still there, So for the global box office numbers, 2017 was 40.6 billion. 11.1 was in the US alone, and 29.5 of that 40 billion is from foreign markets. So that is 73%. That's a huge number. And they still care about 3D, mostly in Asia. So it's not really that big of a deal when you look at it in the bigger scale. What do you think?
You are absolutely so correct. And it just makes it more frustrating for 3D fans. It's already tough enough as it is. I mean, finding screenings. Let's not even get into the surcharges for glasses. Regal, I'm looking at you. You sold me perfect glasses. Then you tell me, I still have to pay the surcharge. What?
Yeah.
But dumb stuff like that. But the big thing, home video is on the decline too. People buying discs. Streaming seems to be where it's at, but still, people are still going to the movies. They're still buying stuff, even though it seems like 3D fans are made to pay the brunt of whatever downturn there is in box office or home video sales. We're the first ones they throw overboard, even though we're the ones who pay the most.
Yeah, and right now, at least in the US, 3D Blu-rays are really hard to find. You basically have to import most of them. There's, here and there, you still get 3D Blu-ray releases, but it's not every time. So it's basically you're watching it in the theater or you're not watching it at all in the US. In UK and Europe, 3D Blu-rays are still out there for new movie releases, but it's becoming much more rare. So, hey, the 1.3 billion, it's still a good amount of money, So
I'll take.
Yeah, if we had that kind of revenue, that would be amazing.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, all these numbers, I posted it on the website, in the homepage, and there'll be a link in the description, of course. But this is from Variety, so it's actually a legitimate, source. And I also posted the other numbers as well. So the world picture, the other numbers, because the context is important. If you just want to look at the numbers going downward, it's not really fair to look at it. It's, one piece of the bigger pie. So I think we got that topic down. What do you want to talk about next?
Oh, I guess we could talk about what's going on with the Fox Marvel universe.
Okay, so we got some big news with 2 of the 3 upcoming, or used to be, 2018 X-Men movies. So for 2018, it was Deadpool 2, X-Men Dark Phoenix, and The New Mutants. And Deadpool 2 is coming out soon. I forget the exact release date for that. And then
February. No, not February. Oh, they moved it. The first one was February. Oh, I think they're moving it into May.
Yeah, so it's May, and then New Mutants was going to be, I think, around there, too. And X-Men, original release date. So we got X-Men was going to originally come out in November. And X-Men, I think, was the more bigger deal because the New Mutants, did you know anything about that movie before it got delayed or no?
Just what trailers and rumors and innuendos. I don't think anybody knows a whole lot of anything. I mean, we've got some trailers for some of this stuff, but it seemed like these were almost announced when the whole Disney deal with the buying Fox came through. All of a sudden, boom, all these movies get announced. And it's like, what?
Well, okay, they were announced beforehand, and New Mutants has been in development hell for at least a year. So they're, I think, going to add a character and rewrite it. But there's apparently a version of the movie that's essentially done right now. But they didn't release it because they're going to add a new character, rewrite the script, and then reshoot things. So it was supposed to be like a horror version within the movie, within the X-Men universe, which is actually kind of neat. Not all superhero movies need to be action movies. Some of them can be horror or, comedy, Deadpool being kind of an action comedy kind of thing. But I wasn't sure if that one was going to be in 3D or not. But X-Men Dark Phoenix was definitely going to be in 3D because the last 2 were. And what are your feelings on the X-Men movie universe overall?
Well, it started out pretty terrible, more or less. And it really turned around with First Class.
Yeah, had a bunch of ups and downs. I mean, I give X-Men credit for basically returning the comic book movie franchise back from, the dead with the first X-Men movie, which was good for the time. And then X-Men 2 was really good. X-Men 3 was pretty bad. And then X-Men, what was after X-Men 3? Wolverine, that was so.
Yeah, the original.
And then the second Wolverine, which was a little better, but and then they got around to rebooting it with the First Class, which I really like, and then having a fun, really interesting movie with Days of Future Past, where they kind of combine the old characters and the new characters, and they basically like retcon everything. And after that, they had Apocalypse, which I actually reviewed on the site. I was generous, and I gave it a 6 out of 10. What did you think of Apocalypse?
6 out of 10's about right.
So, it wasn't awful. It was just disappointing, and it was, and Dark Phoenix. So we haven't seen a trailer for this at all. We've seen some pictures here and there, but we haven't seen an actual trailer yet. And now the Phoenix saga was already talked about in X3 and kind of left a lot of people with not really wanting anything to do with the Phoenix, just because how badly they've done it. What do you think?
Yeah, it was done pretty badly. I'm starting to wonder if these movies are even going to see the light of day, or are they just going to end up on streaming, if they even do see the light of day. I mean, because they keep pushing the dates back on them.
Now, I think I had mentioned this in a previous podcast, but I'll say it again. I think these are definitely going to be the last Fox X-Men movies. And after this, after they're up and done, they're not going to have anything else. And Disney's going to officially say no more. Any X-Men movies are going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and anything that happened before that is dead. And they'll continue Deadpool because Deadpool is going to be successful. I mean, assuming the second one is successful, which I assume it will be. But, Deadpool can exist in its own rated R, X-Men, whatever universe. And it doesn't really matter because Deadpool is Deadpool. And, that's going to be a franchise that won't really fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I really think, Marvel is just going to take over after Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, and it's going to just be done and over with. And it's just really crazy because New Mutants was just about to come out. And now, I can understand, delaying New Mutants to like October to be, horror in October and scary, from the original release date. But yeah, it's a whole year delay. So that's a massive change. The movie is going to be entirely different.
Yeah, it almost seems like they couldn't decide what they wanted. Because, one of the things I keep hearing about this movie is they were fighting over whether it was going to be PG or R, and whether it was going to be like Stranger Things. But then it became such a massive hit, all of a sudden they decided maybe we should go more for a hard R, because it was such a big hit.
Yeah.
And it's typical of studios to be behind the curve and follow the leader when something breaks out.
So I posted this story when it came out on the website, and I posted it on March 27th, which, we're a little bit behind there. But the New Mutants movie was scheduled to release on April 13th. That's next week for what we're recording. We're recording this on April 7th, 2018. So that 1 week to now August 2nd, 2019. So that is a year and change, the delay. And then X-Men Dark Phoenix was originally going to be pushed to November 2nd of this year. And now that got pushed to February 14th. So that's going to be Valentine's Day next year. So that's not that bad of a delay. It's 4 months, but a year and change for New Mutants is massive. A year and 6 months. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And there's a slight possibility the deal may be finalized or closer to finalized between Fox and Disney. So it's like you would think if they're trying to release a movie as Fox, they would try to do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Which seems strange to me because they've been sold. They're just waiting for the government to sign off on it.
Which I don't expect the government to stop it, considering how the administration is now. And we'll leave that as that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to stop it either. Even though there's probably as many reasons to be worried about this deal as the Warner Brothers AT&T, which they are stopping, but they're not stopping it for the reasons that they should. But let's leave it at that as well.
Yeah. So considering both movies are partially filmed and the budget's already paid for, and Fox is going to take the hit, not Disney. I don't imagine as a business they would continue on with anything else that hasn't been started already. This is already started production. They already got essentially the New Mutants is ready to go now if they wanted to release it digitally and just cut their losses, but I don't think they want to. And Dark Phoenix, they probably have shot good 60%. Some of that delay is from the actors having other commitments and everything. So, those make sense as a business just to let it go forward, let it finish. Now, after that point, anything that's in development right now, I don't think is going to happen. I think it's dead in the water. I think X-Men, X-Force, or that was planned, and I think what was the other one? I guess like another Wolverine movie, which they're talking about having maybe I don't know if you saw Logan. Did you see Logan?
Yes, I did.
Rumors were talking about having the female Wolverine have their own movie and explain what happens at the end of that movie without spoiling it. But yeah, it's one of those things. So they had ideas and they want to continue on, and a Gambit movie, which I don't think is ever going to happen now.
No, I don't think so either.
That Gambit movie's been delayed like 10 times, and and that's not happening. So
yeah, it's more apt to be a third Magic Mike movie than there is to be a Gambit movie.
Yeah, but I like Gambit as a character. I do like the actor that was going to play Gambit, but it was the guy from Magic Mike. I can't remember his name. What was it?
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Last year was in 2 movies that had John Denver's Country Roads prominently featured. It was one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen happen in just a summer of movies.
Okay.
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. 3D Wiggle provides software that lets you convert your 3D images into 3D GIFs and or movies that you can easily share on Facebook or Twitter. We have a 20% off coupon in the link in the description, and we also have deals from Amazon, and we also have a Patreon. So please click in the description to get more info.
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
All right, we're back. Which, if you're listening to this, that was a quick ad break. Yes. And a wild James has arrived.
Yes, I came out of the bushes.
Because this is episode 69, you need to have a 3-way list.
No.
So, let's talk about Venom.
Yeah. Fitting.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jake, what are your thoughts on Venom, the trailer? I think, James, you talked about your thoughts on it, right?
Yeah, I've already talked about it.
All right. Jake, what do you thought about Venom?
Well, it looked like the most expensive trailer I've ever seen for an NBC drama. It looked like a sequel to St. Elsewhere or something. It sure didn't look like a superhero or action movie. Or it might have been the newest FX series starring Tom Hardy.
So, all right. So, James, what's the first rumor about this Venom movie that we just heard about recently?
Well, it's about the casting of Carnage, actually. So apparently Carnage is going to be the main bad guy. So he's being played by, I forget the name, Ethan?
Woody
something?
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, who has been in blank. I don't know the actor.
Okay, Woody Harrelson. Jake, can you fill in the gaps? Who's Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson was Ruben Fletcher, who's directing Venom, also directed Woody Harrelson in Zombieland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and Woody Harrelson made his name on Cheers. He was in JFK. He just played LBJ.
Yeah.
And mediocre movie. So, Natural Born Killers.
I don't know that would be a good Cletus Cassidy though, because the thing is that just to give you a red pill about who Carnage is, he's basically like the person, not the suit, but the actual person who is Carnage. Cletus Cassidy is basically Marvel's version of the Joker. He's an insane serial killer. So, I don't, he can't just be a average looking guy, I mean, he's a redhead. Is Woody Harrelson at least a redhead?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. Well, I don't know. It's just kind of strange.
I actually think to me, I don't even believe this rumor. Because to me, if I was casting Woody Harrelson in this movie, I would have him play Carlton Drake, the guy who runs the life station.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he looks like.
Yeah.
And I can see them having Carnage instead of having 5 symbiotes that nobody remembers the names of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you mean like doing that story? You mean like doing the story where they clone Venom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, that's what I'm thinking they're going for. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it.
Okay, well, this is the other kind of what you're referring to is I'll red pill the audience again. Okay, so in the 90s, Venom got his own series, and the first storyline actually kind of lines up from the rumors that this film is kind of going with. That basically Venom is not in New York, and he basically teams up with Spider-Man because a government organization has cloned the Venom suit into 5 different, basically other symbiotes. And I forget, I think one of them's name is Medusa or Hydra or something. I can't remember their names, but yeah, there's a female Venom who's kind of like the leader.
Okay.
And at the end, they it kind of has a bad ending for Venom, if I remember correctly, because Spider-Man gets a sonic weapon, but he also shoots Venom with it too. So, I mean, it kind of ends poorly for him too. But yeah, they could do that. It's just okay. Here's and we'll use that to transition into the other rumor. The rumor here And from what we can tell, Tom Holland was on the set of Venom, so it's not like this isn't, The rumor is that Peter Parker, not Spider-Man, but Peter Parker will have a cameo in this film. It's not just it's not some Sony version of Spider-Man. This is the MCU Spider-Man, Peter Parker. The Tom Holland Spider-Man. And the rumor is basically the film is going to open with Tom Holland talking with Eddie Brock, and basically he says, if you stay in your side of the city or the country, and I stay in my part, then we'll have no issues. And then they part ways, and Venom goes to San Francisco, which is closer. It is closer to the comics, yes, because that's essentially what happens. Venom moves so that him and Spider-Man don't fight. But the thing is that, okay, one thing, it'll be really weird to see, this young Spider-Man, telling, this grown man to go to San Francisco. That just seems like a really weird kind of scene. Two, you have this history of Spider-Man and Venom that is completely off screen. It seems like such a waste to just say, oh yeah, Tom Holland, Spider-Man got the Venom suit off screen, and he took it off, and then Eddie Brock got it, and they've been fighting ever since. You never get to see this. You know what I mean?
Well, we saw it in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but that's different. It's not the same. Unless you. Yeah, but
Cleveland had a better actor this time around in the Venom suit.
Yeah. Well, okay, and what I was saying though is this is really confusing on another level too, because it's if Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in this, is this an MCU film? Because it seems like, from all other accounts, Sony wants this to be in the MCU, but it's not approved. That's what yeah.
All right, Jay,
As
go
long
ahead.
as someone has the Spider-Man film rights, they can do whatever.
Yes, I know that they have the film rights, but I'm just saying I don't think necessarily that Marvel or Disney, the company, likes this direction or this type of film, and so they won't go out of their way and say this is an official part of canon.
They're not going to.
No, they aren't, and I'm just saying it's a very weird instance where this is an uncanon MCU film, pretty much, from what it looks like.
Oh, if you read any of the Sony leaks, remember, this is the studio that wanted to have an Aunt May series.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, the Cable and Black Cat thing is still happening.
No.
I don't know if the Mysterio and Craven buddy film will ever come out, but that thing is a thing. But anyway, realistically speaking, I don't have high hopes for this movie at all. I think that it's just gonna be weird, to say the least. Having Tom Holland Spider-Man in it seems like just a really weird thing. Or not even Spider-Man, just Tom Holland, at the very beginning, seems like just a completely confusing, it almost makes everything worse because it makes everything more complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the thing is that if the MCU shies away from doing a Venom storyline because of this, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Because the majority of people want to see the Venom storyline done right, but the thing is, to do that, you would need multiple films. You would.
Yeah.
So, anyway, to me personally, I think that this is just going to be a one-time thing. It's going to do bad. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because realistically, okay, it's going to have Carnage. Okay, well, what setup? is there? Is he just going to exist? Like, the thing with Carnage is like, it requires the Venom storyline to be already told. Because it's like, oh, Venom is now, because they, symbiotes reproduce asexually. And so, the Venom symbiote is now, like, going through mitosis and is splitting into a new suit. Like, you can say that, but realistically, like, okay, well, where'd the Venom suit come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's trying to tell, like, a sequel story in an origin film.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Superman Returns.
Yeah.
So, okay, might this be in a different dimension? Spider-Man.
Well, okay, realistically speaking, yes. But the thing is that right now it stands as basically MCU fan fiction. Because it's not an official, like, the only reason, okay, realistically speaking, the only reason why this film is being made, and the only reason why they'll begrudgingly have Tom Holland in it, is because Sony has the right. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, if they didn't have the rights, they would get, like, a cease and desist, like, immediately.
So I guess maybe, all right, let's play this out. Maybe this is before he got the suit from Iron Man in, Civil War. So this is maybe before then. Maybe that's the thing, and that's the way they can explain it. I don't know. I don't like that idea.
Yeah. I mean, that would be when he wasn't even in Civil War, and he was even less experienced. So for him to be,
fighting Venom.
Like, to say that he just lost the black suit, and everything, like, you'd think that, with his new suit and with the Iron Spider and everything, like, you'd think that he'd mention the black suit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, it would be smart and just have Eddie Brock find it and just leave Spider-Man out of it.
Yeah. That's what they should do.
So,
well, actually, what they did do is sell the rights back to Marvel, but we know that's not going to happen.
Well, what they should do is just buy
Sony.
Just buy Sony.
Everything.
There's a good meme where it's like, have you ever seen those, like, those, it's like a smiley ball and it has, like, a thumbs up, and it's a Disney one, and it's like, when you own the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men, so you just buy the entire company to get the rights to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Anyway, so, what's the next topic? Because we've already, beaten Venom to death.
All right, Independence Day. All right, so
dead franchise.
Franchise now. Officially, all right, did any of you guys see this second movie, or am I the only?
No, I did not see it. I
got dragged to it, and I'm not speaking to those people anymore.
All right, so Jake, what is your opinion on that movie?
Why? God, why?
It's such a tragic. It's such a. To be honest, like this is kind of like really a tragic story when you the production of this. It's like, okay, so Independence Day did pretty well. It was a dumb film, but it was still, fun and all American and whatnot. And a sequel was in development hell for like over 20 years. And then they finally released the sequel, and it does horrible, and it's an awful film. And then the series died.
And the worst part, Jake can confirm, I watched it, they have full-on plans for a sequel in this second movie. So they are totally hyping up a franchise for this. in the second movie, and it's just like, no, you don't. You have to earn it. You can't just have a franchise, and
Yeah.
you know, it's
You have to
terrible.
make a standalone, you know.
Oh man, this was. At least they were too cheap to try to get The Rock. Then we would have to endure these for years. It seems like whatever he does just comes box office.
Yeah.
And we'll at least he had the common sense to say no too.
Oh yeah, he died, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
think
they
died
just
like.
Mm-hmm. Then
Yeah,
they
they
just
said-
cry. I'm like, yeah, the audience is crying too because we're suffering.
No, but like, didn't Wilson's character like
Did you
die
notice
in a?
how much of the Pacific Rim Uprising was very similar in plot to New Independence Day? Both surrounding about dead.
Was Uprising even good?
That is it.
Yeah, it had its moments. To me, it just looked like a Netflix movie.
Oof.
Well, the thing is, this was made with, at least 60 million less than the original, and of course, things have gone up since then. So it was done on the cheap.
Yeah.
They had some good actors. They had a good twist that made sense with the way they were going. Believe it or not, actually the secondary characters kind of took the lead in this. You know, Herman and so Charlie Day got to really shine.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was a lot better than Independence Day, that's for sure.
Okay, well,
All right. So let's go back to that. So the producer, they asked someone, according to LRM, this is a Screen Rant quote, they asked the producer of Independence Day in WonderCom if they're going to make another movie. And he said, quote, I don't know. Currently, I personally have no plans on doing another one. So that is the quote. So it made about $400 million worldwide, with only 100 of that in the U.S. So considering that the budget was around that price, I'm thinking it's probably not enough money.
they like just basically made their money back.
So if they're smart, they just call it a day and move on.
Yeah.
Now, I watched it. When I watched it, I had the rumble seats. I don't know if you guys have that and where you are at work.
Rumble seat.
Yeah.
Now, we
Dumb.
Jake, do you have rumble seats over there or no?
system in the movie theaters near me.
So the rumble seats were really fun for it because like it rumbled as you were watching it and it moved and like it was like, okay, this is kind of dumb, but it's fun.
It's kind of dumb.
You know, and it's expensive. You have to pay like a surcharge. You have to pay a surcharge for the
Get bounced around.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I reviewed it for the site and I gave it a 4 out of 10. I think it was. So it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that franchise is dead.
Yeah. Pay respect.
Let's
So, all right, what's the next topic?
Okay, let's keep going. So we got some information that Agent Coulson will be in Captain Marvel, the next movie after Infinity War. So that's 2019. They're filming it now.
And get this, Captain Marvel will be a prequel set in the 90s. Yep, and it will have also a younger Ronan the Executioner from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ugh, Ronan is terrible. I don't know. Young Ronan. No, I don't care. It's so bad.
What? They're not Captain Lee Pace as Ronan?
No, he's coming back. He's coming back, the same actor.
Oh, I love Lee Pace, so that'll be awesome.
But Ronan as a character in Guardians was not very good. I didn't like him at all as a villain.
Oh,
Another interesting thing. Another interesting. I was just gonna say, like, another interesting thing about Captain Marvel is that the Skrulls are gonna be in it, and the thing about it is that, for those who don't know, Skrulls are aliens that have are a Marvel race of aliens that are pretty big in the entire universe, and for a long time they have. Ever since their publication history, there's been this big war between the Kree, which is what Ronan the Executioner is, and the Skrulls. Now the Skrulls are shapeshifters, so they can basically pose as like they can turn into you and look like you. And a couple Skrulls later have been known as Super Skrulls, can not only look like you, but they can actually mimic your powers. Now, if you're wondering, why are they just appearing in this film? It's because the rights of them were owned by Fox. So, because they were Fantastic Four property and they couldn't be used in a Marvel film.
Yeah, and they had to negotiate before they bought them. So it was one of those weird deals. But I don't know what they had to trade to get the rights. Because that's normally how these deals work.
It makes me wonder, if this film is a prequel, will it have something along the lines of taking place like Captain America, like in the sense of it's a prequel and then it shows like what present day is like? And if that is the case, will it show that Coulson is still alive?
So Coulson, I guess, if you haven't paid attention to the Marvel TV, he is alive in the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series.
Yes.
And that's a huge, complicated mess of a story to explain. But he's alive there, and I guess maybe he was just a young guy back in the 90s, and,
he was a pilot.
Yeah, so I guess he was there, and then they're going to have, how are they going to explain why Captain Marvel has been gone for 20 years? Where has she been this whole time? Is she like in another dimension and trapped or something? Is she just another part of the universe and just not paying attention to Earth anymore? That's a big story thing we have to figure out, I don't understand that part.
Well, I guess we're going to find out when the movie... I mean, the more I hear about this movie, the more it sounds like it's going to be like Winter Soldier. Spoilers, that S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. It sounds like they're going to have the Skrulls have infiltrated somebody. It would be hilarious if they were actually running Hydra.
I'm kind of wondering. So, okay. When we kind of go over, like, okay, so when is the biggest question that is on my mind? I don't know if it's on anyone else's mind, but, I'm one of the types of people who's always wondering, okay, timeline placement of these films. Okay, yes, this will be set in the 90s. That's not my other question. Okay, so if this takes place in the 90s, and let's say that Captain Marvel is around, I don't know, like 25, around that area, is she going to be a lot older during Infinity War, if she even is in Infinity War?
No, I think I've heard that she's not going to be in this upcoming one, but the next one she will be.
No, that's not my question. I know that she's going to be in Avengers 4. I was saying Infinity War because it's basically, Avengers 3 and 4. I'm saying more for this act of, after this movie, when she appears in present day, will she be old? And if so, that's kind of weird.
I don't think they're going. I just think she's just going to show up as is if she shows up in that.
Maybe they'll explain it like, okay, well, she got these powers and now she doesn't age. I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it.
Lame.
Skrulls might have blasted her into the future,
Well, okay, yes. And by the way, I am holding out hope that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people will get back to the present time and not be stranded in the future forever. But because that's kind of sad that they're stuck in thousands of years later when the Earth is destroyed or whatever. So, but that's an entirely different topic for another day. But yeah, so it's just kind of going to be weird because, you know, you got all these like younger characters that obviously are older in the other films, and then you just got like Captain Marvel. Is she gonna age, or is she just gonna stay the same? Or, and then also it makes me wonder, okay, so is Avengers 3 and 4 going to happen back to back? I know that people have said, oh, they aren't part 1 and 2, they're very different movies. Okay, well, where do they happen? Like, they have the same cast. I mean, Thanos is in both movies, that's been confirmed, so if they aren't part 1 and 2, are they, like, spread out? Like, where does Ant-Man and the Wasp take place? In between there? Before? Captain Marvel's in the 90s? Like, I'm just saying, like, these are timeline questions that, you know, it says on the wiki or whatever, you look at Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it goes, okay, after the events of Civil War. Okay, well, technically, like, Infinity War is after the events of Civil War, so I'm really... You know, and another thing to bring up beforehand, yeah, I understand why they would want to release Infinity War before, like, in the May to be the big summer movie or whatever to start off the summer. But realistically speaking, wouldn't it make sense to air Ant-Man if it came out first before the event? Like, I'm just saying on audiences, it is the
story-wise, I agree with you, but I understand business-wise why they opted the other way. I'm
just saying, like, for the normie, it's going to be pretty confusing. I mean, already for the average moviegoer, the whole timeline is really complicated and really, like, just absurd.
I just hope they have a 5-minute sequence at the very beginning of Michael Penn explaining Infinity War to the few people that didn't see it and decided to go see Ant-Man instead. That would be awesome.
So, that's a good question. So maybe Infinity War happens before, Ant-Man happens before Infinity War, and then that explains why maybe Ant-Man is not in Infinity War.
Yes.
That could work.
Well, and I mean, but he's cast for the fourth one, so he appears in I'm starting to believe that we're seeing problems derived from more of a business standpoint and not from a story one. Like, realistically speaking, if these films, because, okay, let's say that they, like, I think in the trailers they hint to the idea that this film takes place right after he's busted out of jail at the end of Civil War. Okay, that's not confusing. It fits with the timeline, whatever. But Infinity War should be released after this.
Now, how are they going to fix the whole Spider-Man Homecoming timeline issue that you pointed out before, James? Where
by doubling down on it and saying it's not a problem and saying that, by the way, that issue has gotten worse because because you know how the executives, like, of the TV universe and the movie universe just, like, hate each other for no apparent reason? Well, they said that, okay, there was a paper someone was reading in Daredevil that was noted, Battle of New York 2012. His response to that was that the newspaper was not canon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The entire timeline is, for anyone who doesn't know, not Civil War, but Spider-Man Homecoming had the issue of saying that the Battle of New York took place 8 years ago. Now, by the logic that the Battle of New York took place in 2012, that would make Spider-Man Homecoming take place in 2020. That is the big timeline issue that we are discussing. And so far, to date, the filmmakers have not solved this issue or admitted that they have made the mistake. Instead, they're trying to roll with it and say that it's now canon.
Super. I'm thinking Doctor Strange was playing with the time stone before.
Yeah.
He screwed up and didn't tell anybody. Look.
Oh, man. Well, it just completely, like, ruins everything because the whole thing about, like, because specific dates are given for some of these films. For example, Thor Ragnarok, or not Thor Ragnarok, but Thor the Dark World, you know, the kind of mediocre bad one. Thor the Dark World directly says that this solar event will take place in the current year, which would be 2013, which happens right after the Battle of New York, which used to be 2012. So it's a huge problem.
All right. So I think Jake has the right answer. You know, Doctor Strange will fix it.
He caught when he was messing with the time stone.
Yep.
We're living in like the whatever reality, you know, time stone was messed with too many times. Now we're in that. Yeah.
Oh, another thought, because the first Ant-Man movie kind of was crossed through several times. You know, wasn't just this place in the timeline. It was part here. The second one could probably be doing the same thing. And I think a lot of that happened with the first one was because Edgar Wright, when he was still working on the movie, it took so long, and they had to adjust.
Speaking about Ant-Man, the original was supposed to come out in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
The original was supposed to come out in 2006, and interestingly enough, in the place of Iron Man 2, they planned on putting Ant-Man there. But they at that time, Marvel didn't want to make a risque decision and have Ant-Man there, who's relatively unknown, and opted to just make a sequel to Iron Man. And so because of that, a reference to Hank Pym was taken out of Thor. So realistically speaking, you know, Ant-Man's a kind of weird example because, like, for example, the script and the things were written, like, in 2010, and seems like the one where Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, but Red Eagle shows up. Like, that was like a later addition, released much later to basically just say, oh, we're this place in the timeline.
And then remember also that Doctor Strange, they mentioned Doctor Strange in the original Captain America.
In Captain America, Winter Soldier, they mentioned Doctor Strange by name on the list of people that they are worried about, yet realistically speaking, he was just a neurosurgeon. So,
it's all messed up.
Do they have neurosurgeons on their most wanted list?
He's dangerous. He's going to rewire your brain.
All right. Back to the future.
Back to the future. Yeah.
We could go on for years talking about, like, just the MCU, and we should do that one day. But what's some other news that we have? And by the way, when you run out of info, I actually have some Han Solo information.
All right, let's go for that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, two things. Actually three things. One thing, I'm not sure name, but they have confirmed the main villain of Solo will be this Boba Fett-looking woman. So, I don't know what that's going to be about, but Second thing, this is a controversial kind of thing that happened. Recently there was a photo of young Han Solo, of course, and he has a blaster in hand, and Disney, because of the recent political drama or whatever, decided it would be a good idea to just edit the blaster out, and so now it just looks like it's really bizarre because he's still in the position that he's holding the gun, but his hand is down. So it just looks awful. I don't know if have you ever seen this?
I think I saw it once before, and I think they tried to pay it off that it was for a different market or something, and it wasn't supposed to be shown in the U.S. or something like that, and it's just, okay. And then I think they're getting sued also because the graphics they're using for the posters is some other artist did it first. So they copied it and they didn't give them credit or something. I don't know.
Oh, plagiarized the series of albums. Yeah, Disney's going to be paying this artist probably six figures.
Yes. And my favorite of the little Solo news that we have gotten so far is that the fans are upset. The diehard Disney fans are upset that a Denny's commercial was actually, in a way, is altering the canon. Have you heard about this?
No? What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, well, there was a Disney commercial, or not Disney, it was a Denny's commercial that was released for, there's now tie-in Star Wars Han Solo breakfast at Denny's or whatever. And then of course they had this cantina scene where they're all eating at Denny's, and these two kids, one little kid looks like Han Solo, the other one looks like Lando, and they're playing cards over I guess it's supposed to be the Millennium Falcon, but the thing is that according to official new Star Wars lore, he didn't use cards to win the Falcon. He used dice. So it's a violation of the new Disney canon.
The gold dice that were in Star Wars.
Yes,
so
yes. The gold. See, the gold dice was how he won it. It wasn't cards. That was so. The fans
point out
uproar.
This is a commercial, and it's for children. So
Denny's commercial for children altered the Star Wars canon.
To quote William Shatner, these guys need to get alive.
Oh, man. I just, oh man, that's so bad. And also, I hope that if, by the way, if Han Solo is bad, I hope it's the good kind of bad. I see
Ron Howard's a really good filmmaker, so I think it's going to be a good movie.
I'm skeptical only because of the fact that this film has had a lot of reshoots and recastings and things, and so I have a feeling that it's kind of be a mess. That's all.
It could be, but like I said, a lot of people forget because they're not old enough to remember. But Ron Howard was part of, not only was he a child actor, but when he moved behind the camera, he was mentored by Roger Corman, the king of fast, cheap, and can get it made on no money. So
we will see
long career of cutting trailers and making films.
Yeah, I just can't wait for the meme.
So, Han Solo is still scheduled to release on May 25th, 2018. So far that your prediction is not going to come true. It's not yet.
Dang. I want it to happen.
So, James predicted in a prediction show that Han Solo will be delayed because all the other Star Wars movies have been delayed. And as of right now, as of April 7th, 2018, it's not. But you never know before.
You never know.
It'll be a pretty big deal.
I don't think it's going to be delayed because I think, like I said, the minute I heard that when Lord and Mill were fired, I was like, damn, that's awful. But when I heard who they replaced him with, I was like, yeah, he can get it done. So I think it's going to be coming out, and I think it's probably going to be good. And if I'm wrong, you can mock me horribly on the podcast.
I will.
And I'll take it. We'll see.
All right.
It's not every movie Ron Howard directed has been a winner.
We will see.
We shall see. All right. So I guess we'll wrap up with the news on Jurassic World 3.
Yes.
That the director from the first Jurassic World is returning.
Coming back.
Colin Trevorrow. So he's coming back to direct it after the second one is coming out this summer.
Is that like a trend now? Is that the hip thing to do? You direct the first one, you let some other random person do the second one, and then you come back to the third one?
I don't know.
Just a new craze?
Oh, well, it does make production faster. That means you can work on the second and third one at the same time.
I really feel like when they do that, it always seems like the first one is like the one that isn't made back to back, but the second and third one are always usually done that way.
So, yeah.
I would be excited if Spielberg was going to go back, but other than that, we'll probably get some female character running around in high heels screaming for her life, and a bunch of cool dinosaurs.
I mean, how are they going to top a volcano and the dinosaurs, Jake? How?
Dinosaur-human hybrid.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
A meteor and dinosaurs in space, man. Come on, the meteor.
No, I was
in the future.
Well, they got to deal with Sony and Godzilla comes up out of it. So it's Godzilla versus Jurassic Park.
Oh, and then have Venom in there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like James' idea of a human dinosaur hybrid. It's the most logical conclusion.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a horrible idea, but it makes sense in the context of genetic engineering gone mad. It does, and it's like, okay, I don't want to see that. It would be horrible, but I mean, it's kind of one of those things that if the story theoretically makes sense. Makes more sense.
Or we're going to get something like dinosaurs and tornadoes, kind of Dinado.
No.
And Sharknado movies were released in 3D in Germany.
No. All right, I think that's a good way to wrap the show up with that Dino human hybrid for episode 69.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this podcast is crazy, but hey, it's 69. How can not be crazy, man?
Be crazy.
All right, well, that was fun. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. 3D Wiggle provides software that lets you convert your 3D images into 3D GIFs and or movies that you can easily share on Facebook or Twitter. We have a 20% off coupon in the link in the description, and we also have deals from Amazon, and we also have a Patreon. So please click in the description to get more info.
Slurm, it's highly addictive. Slurm, it's highly addictive.
All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit everywhere. Just look for us, 3D or 2D.
And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3d or2d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.